The first thing the little dumpling did every day was either ride a killer whale to act like a bully in the ocean, or force a passing whale to become his underling. In fact, while others still relied on luck for deep-sea fishing. The little dumpling led his older brothers to simply gather yellow croaker, catch lobsters, and even an ordinary coconut snail they found produced an extremely rare flame pearl. It turned out that in his previous life, the little baby was a legendary, stunning Jiaoren, a mermaid/sea person. She unexpectedly transmigrated, becoming a baby discarded by a wealthy family due to an internal feud. Coincidentally, he was found and adopted by Yun Xiaowu while she was foraging along the shore. Upon returning home, Yun Zhao slowly woke up amidst the noise. Immediately, everyone in the room focused their gaze on the infant Yun Xiaowu held. Yun Zhao tried to move her limbs, feeling restrained, and the sound she made in her anger was just a baby's cry. She was too small and couldn't understand what the adults were saying, so she just whimpered and grumbled to express her dissatisfaction. Grandma Yun saw her tiny furrowed brow and felt a pang of heartache. The child must be hungry. I remember Teasy's family's goat just gave birth. Oldest, run over and borrow some goat milk. Warm goat milk flowed into her mouth, and Yun Zhao greedily swallowed it down. From then on, Yun Zhao's life consisted of nothing but eating and sleeping. Yun Xiaowu went foraging almost daily, using the seafood she gathered to trade for goat milk. Soon, everyone in Bailong village knew that Yun Xiaowu had brought home a milk baby. After confirming no one had lost a child, the Yun family adopted the baby. A month after being adopted, Yun Zhao had mostly figured out her current situation. She had transformed from a deep-sea Jiaoren into a human. Jiaoren have a strong linguistic talent, so even though she still couldn't completely understand what the humans were saying, she could generally recognize the Yun family members. The youngest generation of the family had 9 children, all boys. Yun Zhao's oldest relatives were Grandpa Yun and Grandma Yun. Although Yun Zhao was adopted, the entire family treated her exceptionally well. Even though they were so poor they were skinny, and their clothes were patched up like a beggar's, they still managed to get her goat milk every day. However, Yun Zhao longed for the fragrant, cooked dishes, but could only watch wistfully since she hadn't grown teeth yet. When she was 5 months old, Yun Zhao was carried out foraging with Shen Yunlian using a homemade baby carrier. This was Yun Zhao's first time leaving the house. She opened her big eyes, looking around, curious about everything. Suddenly, Yun Zhao struggled to point her chubby little finger in a certain direction and made 2 baby noises. Shen Yunlian didn't understand, but as if possessed, she followed the little girl's direction. Under a reef, she saw something that looked like a snake. Holding Yun Zhao with one hand, she quickly grabbed the tail of the creature with the other. It was so slippery! It took several tries to yank it out. Looking at the creature, Shen Yunlian's heart raced. It's a large moray eel. It must weigh at least 5 or 6 jin, about 5 to 6 pounds. She quickly threw the eel onto the sand and then used her foot to kick it into a bucket. Overjoyed, Shen Yunlian couldn't help but turn and kiss little Yun Zhao's pale, tender cheek. Zhao Zhao, you really are your mother's lucky star. This eel can sell for several dollars. Yun Zhao's eyes curved into a smile, showing her toothless grin. At that moment, Yun Xiaowu walked over. Mother, what are you doing over there? Little sister is so small, you can't let her get near the seawater. If she gets wet, she'll catch a cold. Shen Yunlian was in a great mood. Look at our Zhao Zhao, she really is a lucky star. If it weren't for her, I never would have found this eel. The brothers looked at the eel and were instantly happy. Let's go, Mother. Let's hurry up and sell this eel before it dies. The group rushed toward the seafood collection point. In addition to the eel, the Yun family also gathered 3 mantis shrimp, and the rest were cheap items like razor clams and oysters, which they planned to take home and eat themselves. Shen Yunlian held the 10 yuan and 80 fen with a smile on her face. She had never sold so much from a foraging trip before. She carried Yun Zhao on her back and called her sons to head back. When she got home, she told the rest of the family, and everyone became even more fond of Yun Zhao. Our Zhao Zhao is truly gifted. She must have been sent by the Dragon King. Yun Zhao blinked her innocent big eyes, not quite following. Quote, Zhao Zhao must be hungry. The goat milk is just warming up. Yun Zhao sat on Grandma Yun's lap, contentedly drinking the goat milk. Her gums had been itchy lately, and she always wanted to gnaw on something, so she refused to let go of the wooden spoon. After that first trip with Shen Yunlian, Yun Zhao would fuss to go foraging every few days. Gradually, the family realized that their seafood income was higher whenever Yun Zhao tagged along. 3 years quickly passed, and Yun Zhao's name in this life was still Yun Zhao, just like her Jiaoren name. Zhao Zhao, are you coming foraging with us? In the shabby mud brick house, a fair-skinned little girl sat quietly on a stool, slowly munching on a small dried fish held in her chubby hand. Her clothes were a bit old but had been washed sparkling clean. Hearing someone call her, Yunjiao turned around. "Fifth brother, I want to go." Perhaps because he was the one who found her. Fifth brother, Yun Xiaowu, acted more like a father than a brother. When Yun Xiao couldn't take care of herself, Yun Xiaowu changed her diapers many times, and he took care of feeding her milk and baby food. Everyone in the family teased him, asking if he was raising a daughter at such a young age. When she was learning to walk, he was the most dedicated one to teaching her. Because of this, Yun Zhijiao was particularly attached to her fifth brother. Stuffing the last of the dried fish into her mouth, Yun Zhao grabbed her own little bucket and small shovel and followed her brothers out. Her eldest and second eldest brothers were helping her father and youngest uncle on the boat. Her third and fourth eldest brothers were still in school. Since their family was large and poor, they couldn't afford to send all the boys to school, so the boys after Yun Xiaowu weren't attending. However, the two who did go would teach the younger brothers to read upon returning home. The laziest one, sixth brother, and the youngest, ninth brother, were currently with grandma helping in the fields. 3-year-old Yun Zhao had short legs and walked with a busy, hurried gait to keep up with her brothers. When they arrived at the beach, the tide had just receded, and many people were already there to forage. "Come on, let's go somewhere less crowded." Yun Zhao didn't object, following her 3 brothers to a spot further away. Yun Xiaowu noticed her short legs and kindly asked, "Are you tired, little sister? I can carry you." Yun Zhao shook her head. "Not tired." "Then hold my hand," her brother said. Yun Zhao extended her little hand, and Yun Xiaowu immediately grasped it, even squeezing his sister's soft, fragrant hand. Suddenly, Yun Zhao stopped. "Brother, let's go that way." She pulled her hand free and pointed in a certain direction. The brothers looked around, bewildered. There's no path there. Although confused, the 3 brothers decided to indulge their little sister and go see. Yun Zhao, a small, warm bundle, quickly churned her short legs to keep up with her brother's pace. The 3 brothers were completely charmed by their little sister. The direction Yun Zhao pointed was a rocky cliff. Even the most skilled climbers in the village wouldn't dare go up there. But Yun Zhao led them in a circle, and near the waterline, they discovered a cliff cave. The 3 young brothers' eyes widened. They had lived here for so long and never noticed this cave. How did little sister know? The 3 brothers looked at Yun Zhao, this beautiful, porcelain doll-like little dumpling. She spoke matter-of-factly, "I heard it." As a Zhaoren, her hearing was highly sensitive. Even underwater, she could distinguish different terrains by sound, which made hunting easier. The 3 Yun brothers didn't press the question, but in their hearts, they were even more certain that their little sister was a lucky treasure sent by the Dragon King. Should we go in? A cave that had never been discovered before could hold danger, but it could also yield a great harvest. The 3 brothers all looked to Yun Zhao. Yun Zhao nodded her little head, her tone firm. "Yes, brother, let's go in." "All right, then we'll go in." "Zhao Zhao, hold my hand tightly and we'll go slowly." The 4 of them walked hand in hand into the cave. It was fine at first, but the deeper they went, the darker it became. "We should have brought a flashlight." "I hear something over there," someone whispered. The cave could be submerged during high tide. Although the entrance was exposed now, there were surely many water pockets inside. Maybe some sea fish were trapped there. "Please don't be a sea snake. Please don't be a sea snake." Those things are highly venomous. If one suddenly appeared and bit them, they'd all be done for. They strained their eyes, trying to make out what was in the water ahead. The 3 Yun brothers couldn't see, but Yun Zhao's clear black and white eyes saw everything clearly. She suddenly broke free from her brothers' hands and ran forward. "Zhao Zhao!" In the brothers' frantic shouts, Yun Zhao bent down and grabbed the object. "Brother, it's a big lobster." Yun Zhao's tender, milky voice echoed in the cave. Her pale, chubby hand held a lobster much bigger than her face, its large eyes rolling around. The 3 brothers were first worried, then utterly thrilled by the big lobster Yun Zhao was holding. As they got closer, they could clearly see it was a Chinese ornate spiny lobster. These lobsters sell for at least 8 yuan a jin, and the larger they are, the more valuable they become, especially those over 3 jin. The one in Yun Zhao's hand looked to be at least 2 jin, about 2 pounds. The 3 brothers were so excited their faces flushed and their breathing quickened. "This one alone is worth a lot of money. Can I eat it?" Yun Zhao asked wistfully. "Not now. It doesn't taste good raw, a brother replied. Yunjiao sighed in disappointment, but when the others weren't looking, she quickly took a bite out of the end of the lobster's tail. Jiao Jiao! Don't eat it! Wait until we get home and have Grandma cook it. Yunjiao spat out the piece of tail. I know. Let's go see if there are any more. Little sister, put that lobster in the bucket first. Hold my hand so you don't fall. Even in his excitement, Yunjiao didn't forget about Yunjiao's safety. Fifth brother, there's another one here. Another spiny lobster. Seventh brother's laugh was exceptionally bright as he grabbed a spiny lobster. Brother, there's one here too. In an instant, the Yun brothers went wild with joy, eagerly catching the spiny lobsters and putting them in the bucket. Including the one Yunjiao caught earlier, they had a total of 5 spiny lobsters. Ha 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 ha, we're rich! They were all grinning widely. Yunjiao was also infected by the excitement, her eyes bright and curved. Let's keep moving forward and see if there are any other sea treasures. They continued on. The next few water pockets were empty, but they soon heard a sound further on. What is it? What is it? Is it a spiny lobster? Seventh brother asked impatiently. Yunjiao's milky voice chimed in. No, it's 2 fish. Jiao Jiao, you can see them? Yunjiao nodded. Yes, I can see them. Wow, Xiao Jiao. You really must be the little fairy sent by the Dragon King to our family. Little sister is amazing. Once we find a big catch, we'll... Yun Xiaowu, holding Yunjiao's hand, interrupted. Stop talking for now. Let's go see what kind of fish they are. When they got closer, the fish in the water pocket were brightly colored. Even in the darkness of the cave, their outline was somewhat clear. A red fish. Is it a red snapper? Or a big eye? Seventh brother guessed several types. Yun Xiaowu laughed heartily. We couldn't be that lucky, could we? Is it an eastern blue spot grouper? Quick, catch it. The light in the cave was too dim to see clearly, so they would have to wait until they got outside. The fish was still alive, so he caught it and dropped it into the bucket. Yunjiao pointed at the water pocket. There's also a large brown fish hiding among the rocks at the bottom of the pool. If you're not careful, you won't see it. It looks like a tiger grouper. Yun Xiaowu rolled up his sleeves. I'll get it! As soon as Yun Xiaowu stepped into the water pocket, the seawater was already up to his waist. The tiger grouper sensed the danger and began to frantically escape. Yun Xiao suddenly spoke up. Left! Yun Xiaowu instinctively lunged to the left and managed to grab the tiger grouper by its large mouth. Holy cow, it's huge! Ha ha! This tiger grouper I'm holding has to be at least 6 or 7 jin, about 6 to 7 pounds. Yun Xiaowu was strong, but even he nearly dropped the fish. He threw the fish onto the shore, completely breathless. Our luck today is incredible. Let's not go any further. Let's head back quickly. If the tide comes in and floods this place, we'll be in trouble. Their harvest was so large today they could barely carry it. Yun Jiao also wanted to help, but the 3 brothers didn't want her to be tired. But at Yun Jiao's insistence, they gave the smallest spiny lobster to the little girl. The big creature lay quietly in her arms without struggling at all. A spiny lobster weighing a little over 2 jin was not too heavy for her to carry. They had barely left the cave when the tide came up. Seeing the red fish in the bucket made them even happier. Ha 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 ha! It is an eastern blue spot grouper. We're rich! We're rich! We've made more money on this trip than Dad and the others. Yun Jiao glanced at the fish, a bit sad that they would have to sell it and couldn't eat it. That fish tastes quite good. She wondered when she would be able to go into the sea and catch seafood for herself. With their bounty, the children were all smiles. Then, Yun Xiaowu and the others walked home with their heads held high, carrying the day's harvest. Only Grandma Yun and Grandpa Yun were home when they arrived. Grandpa! Grandma! We're back! Yun Jiao also called out in her milky voice, Grandpa! Grandma! Grandpa Yun was mending fishing nets in the yard. He immediately put down the net when he heard the shouts. Jiao Jiao is back! Come to Grandpa! The 3 boys looked proud. Look what great things we brought back. Grandpa Yun instantly spotted the big fish Yun Xiaowu was carrying and the small, spiny lobster Yun Jiao was holding. His eyes widened. Tidus, you found this while foraging? Grandma Yun also came out of the house. Oh my goodness, my darlings, how is there so much stuff? Grandpa Yun quickly picked up the tiger grouper and had his wife get a big bucket for it. The tiger grouper was still alive, but it wasn't as energetic as when they first caught it. There's also an eastern blue spot grouper and so many spiny lobsters. Did you guys find a spiny lobster den today? The sea goddess blesses us. The Dragon King blesses us. How can there be so many? Grandma Yun looked from one thing to the next, her eyes crinkling with laughter. Yun Xiaowu and the others lifted their chins. Aren't we awesome? Carrying this big fish back tired me out. Grandpa Yun thought to himself, how many people wish they could be this tired and not get the chance? His wrinkled face was creased with laughter. Quick, quick, hurry up and take them to be sold while they're still alive. Yun Jael looked at the spiny lobster she was holding. Can we keep one? If you want to eat, the family has to have a special meal. If it were anyone else, the two elders would surely slap them, asking, keep what? What precious stomachs do you have to be eating something this good? But Grandma Yun looked at her soft, fair little granddaughter's yearning expression, and enduring the heartache said, all right, let's keep the spiny lobster that Yun Zhao is holding. Yun Zhao immediately smiled, her eyes curving into a sweet, obedient look. Grandpa Yun, dotingly hugging his sweet-smelling little granddaughter, said, let's go sell the catch. They sold the catch at Yun Wang's collection point, as usual. Since they were relatives, he gave them a fair price. The final tally came to a total of 225 yuan, 9 zhao, and 6 fen, about $225.96 USD. For foraging, this was a massive income, even better than what some families with their own fishing boats could earn, as deep-sea fishing also depends on luck. The Yun boys jumped up and down in excitement. Grandpa Yun hugged and kissed his precious granddaughter and bought her some snacks on the way back. Back home, Yun Zhao sat in the courtyard with her older brothers, sharing the candy she held. She handed out the candies one by one. Zhao Zhao, you eat yours. Although the older brothers were tempted, they didn't want to take the candy from their little sister. Yun Zhao was stubborn in her small way. She insisted on putting the candy into her brother's hands. She also made them share the soda. Although she was a bit greedy, she never ate alone. She insisted that not only her brothers, but also the elders of the family have some. After the brothers took a sip, she held the remaining soda and toddled on her short legs to find her aunts, grandmother, father, and mother. They were good to her, so Yun Zhao was good to them too. The elders of the family were all charmed by the sight of her holding up the soda, demanding they take a drink. Yes, 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 Grandpa will drink. Our Zhao Zhao is the most filial. Grandpa Yun's face wrinkled up with joy. Yun Zhao smiled, her lips curved. She loved hearing her family praise her. In her past life as a Zhaoren, she had to leave her parents around age 10 to live and hunt alone. Even before age 10, while she was with her parents, all her time was spent in training and being taught to hunt. She quite liked this warm feeling of being cherished by the whole family. Grandma, you drink too! The beautiful, fair little dumpling fluttered between the elders. After the meal was ready, the whole family gathered around the table to eat. The small, spiny lobster hadn't been cooked yet. It was waiting for Yun Linhai and Yun Linhe, the two brothers, to return in the evening. Come, Zhao Zhao, eat more! The family constantly put the best fresh meat into Yun Zhao's bowl, as if everyone was worried she wouldn't eat enough. Yun Zhao's mouth was full, her soft cheeks puffed out, making her look just like a tiny hamster stuffing reserves into her cheeks. Grandpa, Grandma, brothers, you eat too, she said, her voice soft and babyish, but very serious. The Yun family loved hearing her talk, mainly because Yun Zhao's voice was genuinely beautiful, soft, sweet, and carrying an ethereal quality. Every word was a pleasure to hear. After dinner, Yun Zhao and the others went for a stroll, and Yun Zhao went down for her nap. When Yun Zhao woke up from her nap, she stayed at home, playing and eating a fragrant baked sweet potato on her little stool, since her brothers were still out. In the evening, all the brothers returned, and the women of the house had just finished preparing dinner. When they saw the particularly eye-catching large lobster meat on the dining table, Yun Linhai and Yun Linhe's eyes nearly popped out. Are we living large now? Is that a spiny lobster? This is the one Zhao Jiao specifically asked to keep to improve our family's meal. The talkative Yun Xiaowu excitedly recounted the day's successes, primarily highlighting his little sister's contributions. With over 200 yuan earned that day, everyone in the family, young and old, wore a smile that wouldn't fade. Even when they went to bed that night, people were rubbing their bellies and reminiscing about the taste. Early the next morning, Yun Xiaowu was getting ready to take Yun Zhao foraging, but the second brother, Yun Chenqi, called out to them. Today, ninth brother and Jiao Jiao are going to learn how to swim and dive. Hearing learn to swim, Yun Zhao's eyes lit up immediately. She had wanted to go into the sea for ages, but because she was so small, the Yun family dared not let her near the water. Second brother, are you going to teach me? Yun Zhao looked at him with sparkling eyes. Among the Yun children, the second and fifth brothers were the best swimmers. However, the adults didn't trust Yun Xiaowu to take care of Yun Zhao, so the important task fell to the second brother, Yun Chenqi. Yes, let's go. With that, he picked up his fragrant, soft little sister. Yun Zhao's chubby white arms immediately wrapped around his neck. Yun Zhao was extremely unhappy. I can teach my sister to swim too. I swim better than second brother. Yun Chenxi glared at him. You're just a little kid. Wait until you're older. He carried Yun Zhao towards the beach, a long line of brothers following behind them. At the beach, Yun Chenxi sent the other brothers off to forage, while he took Yun Zhao to a spot with a suitable water depth and began to teach her. Yan Xiaowu didn't leave. He insisted on teaching too. Little sister, don't be afraid. We have to learn to hold our breath. Watch me. I'll take a big breath and go underwater. Don't be scared. Yun Xiaowu essentially hijacked his brother's job, even trying to push him aside. Second brother tapped him on the head. Am I teaching or are you teaching? Yun Xiaowu held his head, pouting. Sister clearly likes me more. Before they could start arguing, Yun Zhao had already squatted down into the water. She didn't need to be taught. As a Zhaoren, she was born to swim in the sea. Most importantly, she now confirmed that she could truly breathe underwater. This was an incredible surprise. Sister? Zhao Zhao! Where are you? Realizing their sister was gone, the second brother and fifth brother immediately dove underwater to search. Second brother! Fifth brother! I'm over here! Yun Zhao suddenly popped up about 3 meters away, floating effortlessly in the water. She held something in her 2 chubby hands. The 2 terrified brothers quickly swam over and grabbed her. You scared me to death. How did you disappear in the blink of an eye? Yan Zhao smiled. Look, brothers, I can swim. The 2 brothers froze. Wait, they hadn't even had time to teach her anything, and she can already do it? Yun Xiaowu hugged her, roaring with laughter. My sister is a genius. She was definitely sent by the Turtle Prime Minister. Once they reached the shore, the 2 brothers finally turned their attention to what Yun Zhao was holding. Wow, a big snail! This must be at least 3 or 4 jin, about 3 to 4 pounds. A big snail like this must be worth a lot of money, right? The snail Yun Zhao was holding was bigger than her face. Yun Zhenxi took it and hefted it in his hand. It's a coconut snail. This size is probably worth about $3. Yun Zhao hugged the coconut snail. Don't sell it. All right, don't sell it. Our Zhao Zhao has such good luck to find such a big snail just by learning to swim. Yun Zhao smiled, hugging the coconut snail that was bigger than her face. She didn't want to sell it because she felt there was something inside, probably a pearl. But she couldn't say for sure until it was opened, as the feeling was very vague. Zhao Zhao, how did you learn to swim? Let fifth brother see. Yun Zhao handed over her treasured big snail, solemnly instructing him. Hold it carefully, brother. Don't lose my treasure. Yun Xiao nodded. Yes, I know it's your treasure. Brother will hold it very carefully. Yun Zhao was satisfied, and then gave them a live demonstration of how she swam. Yun Chenxi and Yun Xiaowu watched as she effortlessly slipped into the water, moving like a playful little mermaid. Yun Chenxi was stunned. I didn't teach her to dive, did I? Yun Xiaowu's eyes widened. I thought I was fast at learning to swim and dive. Compared to Zhao Zhao, I'm just a slowpoke. Holy cow, why isn't she coming up? It's been a minute! If he couldn't see Yun Zhao still moving, Yun Chenxi would have truly believed something was wrong. How does it feel? Don't you feel like you need to breathe? Or that you're suffocating? Yun Zhao's face was rosy, and she looked energetic, giggling as she was held. When asked, she tilted her little head, looking slightly confused. Do I need to breathe? Oh, right. Humans can't breathe underwater. She flapped her white, chubby little legs. I want to play some more, second brother. Let go of me. Go on. If you feel uncomfortable holding your breath, remember to surface to breathe. Yun Zhao obediently said, okay. Although he let Yun Zhao play, Yun Chenxi dared not take his eyes off her, afraid the little girl would get too excited and swim into the deep water. Yun Zhao felt completely at ease underwater. Her vision was completely unaffected by the seawater. She could clearly see the clams peeking out from the sand on the seabed. With a grab of her chubby little hand, a fat, round clam was in her palm. Another one here, and another one there. Soon, Yun Zhao selectively picked out a pile of fat clams and swam to the surface. Brothers, look! The second brother and fifth brother looked over and didn't know how to react. Was she here to learn to swim or to pick up stock? Are these clams really that easy to find? And they're all so fat. Where did you find them? Yun Xiaowu was eager to try. Yun Zhao pointed with her small hand. Over there, come on, I'll take brother with me. Yun Zhao and Yun Xiaowu dove together. They quickly found another patch of clams. However, Yun Xiaowu couldn't see very clearly underwater. Yun Zhao's eyes, on the other hand, seemed to be covered with a transparent membrane that protected her eyes while allowing her to see the underwater situation clearly. Yun Xiaowu searched for a while, but only found a few clams. The seawater was becoming more turbid from his splashing. He quickly surfaced. Not long after, Yun Zhao's head popped out of the water. "Fifth brother, look, good heavens!" She was holding another pile, about a dozen clams. Yun Xiaowu had only found 4 or 5 after splashing around for ages. The difference was too great. "Let's put these in the bucket first." They swam to the beach and dropped the clams into the bucket. Yun Xiaowu grabbed Yun Zhao's hand. "Don't go into the sea anymore, we'll just look on the beach. You've been soaking in the seawater for so long, you might catch a cold." After changing their clothes, the two of them took shovels and started digging for razor clams on the beach. Yun Zhao busied herself, digging into the sand wherever she saw a small hole. "This razor clam seems to be bigger than the ones we usually eat. It looks so fat and delicious. Never mind, keep digging." "Hee hee, another big one." Yun Zhao's small hands worked even harder. After Yun Xiaowu dug for a while, he went to check on his sister. "Jiao Jiao! Holy cow!" Yun Xiaowu stared at the pile of large razor clams in Yun Zhao's small bucket. "Where did you dig these up? We've dug here before, and other villagers have come, but no one has ever dug up this many king razor clams all at once. My sister's luck is insane!" She had dug up about 3 jin, about 3 pounds, all by herself. These things aren't easy to dig up. How did you do it? They burrow deep and move fast if there's any movement. You really can't find them without strength, patience, and experience. Yun Zhao didn't say anything. She just demonstrated for Yun Xiaowu. In just a few quick scoops, a king razor clam was dug out. Yun Xiaowu was skeptical. "It's that easy? Let me try." He found a small hole next to Yun Zhao and started digging wildly. Although Yun Xiaowu was a bit slower, he eventually managed to catch a few after a long struggle with the king razor clams. When Yun Chenji returned, he saw the half bucket of king razor clams, probably about 6 jin, 6 pounds, and then looked at the meager amount of oyster meat in his own bowl. He felt instantly deflated. "King razor clams are here?" People foraging nearby heard him and immediately ran over, crowding the area. The clams on that section of the beach were quickly depleted. After digging for a while, Yun Zhao's stomach rumbled. She looked longingly at her brother. Seeing this, Yun Chenji took his siblings and headed home. Grandma Yun, who was sitting at the doorstep preparing vegetables, smiled when she saw her grandchildren return. Yun Zhao, holding the coconut snail, scampered over. "Grandma, the big snail I found." Grandma Yun's smile widened. "Good, good, good. Our Zhao Zhao is so capable." Yun Xiaowu held up the water bucket proudly. "Grandma, look! We dug up king razor clams." Grandma Yun's eyes weren't great in her old age, so she had to lean in to see clearly. She was stunned. "How are there so many?" Grandma Yun's eyes crinkled up with laughter. "Quick, second brother. Take them to the collection point while they're fresh." Yun Chenji nodded. "I'm going now." Yun Zhao didn't follow. She went back into the house, clutching the coconut snail. "Zhao Jiao, aren't you going to sell that coconut snail? It's so big, it's worth several dollars." Yun Zhao said tenderly. "Grandma, no sell." All right, if Zhao Zhao likes it, then we won't sell it." Once inside, Yun Xiao tapped the coconut snail several times with her small fist. Then she frowned and pouted. "I can't get it out. I can't communicate with it." Yun Zhao opened her mouth and looked like she was about to bite it. Grandma Yun, sitting by the door, saw this and quickly stood up. "You can't eat it raw. Don't eat it raw. You'll crack your little tooth." The pretty little girl's teeth were already gnawing on the shell, making a crunch-crunch sound as she ground her teeth. Hearing her grandmother, she slowly moved her mouth away. "Oh, Grandma, when will we cook it?" Soon. We'll cook it when your brothers come back." Yun Chenji and the others hurried back after selling the razor clams, and the first thing they did was hand the money to Grandma Yun. Including a few other small snails and 2 blue crabs, they made a total of 11 yuan. After Grandma Yun collected the money, she said, "Zhao Zhao is waiting for you. Quickly go boil that coconut snail for her. She was trying to bite into it raw a moment ago." Hearing that they were going to start cooking, Yun Zhao immediately ran into the house and carefully picked out several sweet potatoes. "Come on, brothers, let's roast sweet potatoes and potatoes." By the time the people who went out to work returned, dinner was almost ready. Yun Zhao squatted on the ground, watching the second brother pry out the coconut snail meat. Before long, Yun Chenxi had pried out the snail meat. Yun Zhao immediately held out her hand for the meat. Yun Chenxi couldn't help but smile. "Little greedy cat, you can't eat it yet. We'll slice it up and stir-fry it in a bit." Yun Zhao shook her head. "I won't eat it," but she insisted on having it. Yun Chenxi had no choice but to hand the large lump of coconut snail meat to her. "It's cooked, so it's okay if she gnaws on it a bit." Yun Zhao took the meat, felt around inside it with her chubby little hand, found a certain spot, and dug her finger in. Soon she pulled out an orange-red pearl. "Holy cow!" Yun Chenzi and Yun Zhaowu watched in utter disbelief as she dug such a large pearl out of the snail meat. "Pearl?" Hearing Yun Zhaowu's word, even the busy Grandma Yun walked over. "What's wrong? What is it?" When they saw the pearl in Yun Zhao's hand, everyone's eyes widened. Grandma Yun was the first to react, quickly telling someone to shut the main door. "Don't show off our wealth." Pearls, especially sea pearls, have been valuable since ancient times. The pearl in Yun Zhao's hand was at least the size of a human finger, estimated to be over 10 millimeters. Its color was a beautiful orange-red, perfectly round, and covered with gorgeous, flame-like patterns. This is a flame pearl! Grandma Yun had lived by the sea for a long time and was quite knowledgeable. Even she was excited now. The whole family happily stared at the flame pearl in Yun Zhao's hand. Grandma Yun cautioned everyone. "Zhao Zhao, you absolutely must not talk about this flame pearl, or our family will become a target. Who knows, a thief might show up any day. This pearl belongs to Jiao Jiao. No one is to covet it. If any of you are capable enough to find a coconut snail and get a pearl or something like that, that will also be yours. Whether you sell it or keep it, this old woman will not interfere." Grandpa Yun nodded along. The others had no objection. "Zhao Zhao, Grandma will hold on to this pearl for you. When you grow up, we'll make a beautiful necklace for you to wear," Grandma Yun said. She dared not let Yun Zhao hold the flame pearl, fearing that with Yun Zhao's tendency to bite anything she saw, she might stick the pearl in her mouth. A pearl that size could easily block her throat. Yun Zhao also loved the beautiful pearl in her hand. Zhaoren naturally loved shiny, beautiful things. In her past life, she enjoyed searching the sea for pretty pearls, gemstones, and shells to decorate her lair. But now, she handed the flame pearl out. "Grandpa, sell it for a big house! Zhao Zhao wants a pretty room." She planned to exchange the pearl for money to build a house. She wanted a little house of her own. The current one was too small, and the roof leaked when it rained. Beautiful pearls and gemstones could be found again later. The family could see that Yun Zhao really loved the flame pearl. Grandma Yun patted her head. "This flame pearl is so beautiful. It's incredibly lucky to find it even once. Zhao Zhao, you should keep it for yourself. Building a house is an adult's matter. Little children shouldn't worry about it. Don't worry, we will reserve a room for you," Yun Zhao insisted in her soft baby voice. "Sell it for money. Zhao Zhao will find pretty pearls later." Her tender little voice delivered quite a forceful message. After thinking it over, Grandpa Yun didn't mince words. "Then Grandpa will accept it. We'll sell it for money and immediately build a big house for our Zhao Zhao." Yun Zhao smiled, her eyes curving, and then she focused on eating the snail meat. "Ha ha ha ha, Zhao Zhao, you really are a little foodie." The whole family laughed happily. The snail meat was stir-fried, and Yun Zhao happily ate a lot, stuffing her little belly until it was round. The next day, Yun Zhao followed her youngest uncle, Yun Lingyise, and second brother, Yun Chengxi, to the city. Upon arriving, Yun Zhao's eyes were not enough to take in all the sights. The city had far more tall buildings than the town. They then took the flame pearl and looked for a reputable shop. After asking around, they ended up at a store specializing in rare goods. Before arriving, their mental estimate for the price was 500 yuan at most. They never expected the small pearl to sell for 500 yuan after leaving the shop. Yun Lina and Yun Chenxi finally managed to suppress their excitement. Yun Linhe thought for a moment, took out a 10 yuan banknote, a great unity, and handed it to Yun Zhao. "Zhao Zhao, here's 10 yuan for you. Buy whatever you want. The rest of the money is more than enough for building the house." Since the pearl was found by Yun Zhao, no one felt bad giving her 10 yuan. Yun Zhao didn't refuse, holding the money with her two soft white hands and giving a sweet smile. Canned goods, canned goods. She had been longing to taste canned food. "Ha ha ha, all right, we'll go buy canned goods right now." The two men then took Yun Zhao to the city's largest department store. The store was filled with all kinds of dazzling goods. Yun Zhao wanted several different kinds of canned food. In the end, Yun Linhe bought a canned yellow peach in syrup and a canned meat. Just these 2 cans used up more than 4 yuan. Yun Linhe winced, just looking at the price. How could their family afford to eat this? Yun Zhao hugged the 2 cans, her eyes fixed on them. The little girl tried to bite the lid. Yun Shengxi and Yun Linhe laughed and picked up Yun Zhao. Zhao Zhao, you have to open these to eat them. Let's buy other things first, and we can eat them outside. Yun Zhao let go of the can. Oh! Held by her second brother, her big eyes darted around. They eventually stopped in the toy section. Yun Zhao squatted down, looking at toy pistols and slingshots, intending to buy toys for her brothers. Yun Linhe chuckled bitterly. Zhao Zhao, we don't have enough money. We can't just buy 1 toy pistol and 1 slingshot. They'll fight over them. Yun Zhao frowned, her small eyebrows furrowed. Her gaze circled the area and then landed on a tin box filled with beautiful glass marbles. Do big brother and second brother want these? Yun Chenxi felt a surge of warmth. Children Yun Zhao's age usually only thought about food or playing themselves. Although their Zhao Zhao loved to eat, she always thought of her family. Big brother and I don't play with these. You can buy them for 5th brother and the others. Yun Zhao bought about 20 cents worth of glass marbles for each of her remaining brothers, carefully selecting the ones she thought were the prettiest and had the best colors. By this point, her 10 yuan was almost spent. The 3 left the department store, laden with treasures, and took the bus back home. Yun Zhao sat on her uncle's lap, nibbling a small, soft, fragrant piece of sponge cake. When they got home, all the Yun children crowded around Yun Linhe and Yun Chenxi, jabbering and asking questions. What did you buy? Is there food? Wow, sponge cake. I want to eat. I want to eat. And white rabbit candy. Uncle, how can you be so generous? Holy cow, canned goods. Yun Shao's loud exclamation drew everyone's attention to the 2 cans. Yun Chenxi smacked his reckless brother on the head. No swearing. How many times have I told you? Yun Shao, unfazed by the hit, jumped around excitedly with the cans. These items weren't cheap, and Grandpa and Grandma Yun felt a pang of heartache. Why did you buy so much stuff? You spendthrifts. How much did all this cost? Grandma Yun even smacked Yun Linye's arm a few times in mock anger. Yun Linye scratched his head. I was thinking it's rare to go to the city. Yun Zhao said softly. But Grandma, Zhao Zhao wanted to buy them. But don't buy so much. That must have cost a lot of money. Not much, Yun Zhao gestured with her little hand. It was many sheets of money, but Uncle only gave Zhao Zhao 1 sheet to use. Having said that, Yun Zhao took out the box of glass marbles and shook it. Brothers, marbles! Hearing her, the brothers immediately crowded around. Let me see, quick, let me see. When the box was opened, the beautiful marbles instantly became the boys' most treasured possessions. Yun Zhao, holding the box, gave 10 marbles to each of the 5 brothers. She sat on her little stool, a bit smugly crossing her short legs. The Yun adults watched happily as Yun Zhao handed out the glass marbles. After distributing them to the 5 brothers, she clapped her hands and went to hand out the food. If she didn't hand it out, Grandma and the others would definitely be too reluctant to eat it. Grasping a handful of white rabbit candy, Yun Zhao started handing them out again. Once everything was distributed, Grandma Yun took the remainder and locked it away, intending to eat a little each day. Yun Xiaowu and the other brothers ran off, shouting with their marbles, likely to show them off to the other children in the village. At this point, the adults gathered to discuss the matter of building the house. Early the next morning, Yun's father, Yun Ade, carried Yun Zhao to find the village chief. After telling him about building the house, the chief took them to choose the building site. Zhao Zhao, which plot do you want to choose? The chief couldn't help but look at them. Asking a 3-year-old child about such a big decision? Isn't this treating it like a game? Who knew Yun Zhao actually pointed to a spot facing the sea? She pointed to a cliff overlooking the ocean, from where one could see the entire sea. That spot, isn't it a bit too close to the sea? The second brother, Yun Chenxi, rubbed his chin, but then thought it over. Quote, although it's not far from the sea, the tide definitely won't reach there. Plus, the area is large enough to build a house. Are you really letting a little child choose? Yun Zhao's eyes were bright. Her father, holding her, couldn't help but smile. Yun Zhao nodded like a little chick pecking grain. I like the sea. Haha, all right, then we'll choose this plot. The village chief confirmed again. Are you really gonna set this? If you set it, the house will be built here. Hearing this, the chief stopped trying to persuade them. Back home, Yunjiao played marbles with her brothers for a while, but soon grew bored. She wanted to go to the sea. I want to go to the sea. But she couldn't. Her father, eldest brother, and others were busy with the construction of the house, and without them watching her, she wasn't allowed to go near the water. Yunjiao pouted, extremely unhappy. When she was unhappy, her eyebrows drooped, her big eyes became watery, and her lips pursed downwards, looking pitiful and wronged. This made her brothers feel terribly sorry for her. Let's go find Mother and Auntie, a brother suggested. They're going foraging to supplement the family's meals. Even if we can't go into the sea, we can play by the shore. Yun Xiaowu and the others stopped playing with their beloved marbles, called out to their sister and friends, and left. Shen Yunlian and Wang Mei, Yun Zhao's mother and aunt, were indeed going foraging. They didn't object when the children asked to join. At the beach, Wang Mei handed Yun Zhao a small bucket and a small wooden shovel. Zhao Zhao, go play over there. Can I go into the sea? She stared longingly at the seawater. Zhao Zhao already knows how to swim. She's good at it. No, you can't. The two adults clearly forbade her from taking risks. Little children can't play in the sea. If a wave hits, a person can be dragged away. It's very scary. Yun Zhao turned her head away. This was what she hated to hear. She squatted down and poked the sand with her little shovel. She looked like a tiny, round pufferfish, all puffed up with anger. Yun Zhao poked the sand harder. Suddenly, she hit something. She dug it out with her small hand and saw it was a beautiful blue pebble. She threw it into her little bucket, turned, and poked again. This time, she poked out a razor clam. Without thinking, Yun Zhao threw it into her mouth. Zhao Zhao, what are you eating now? Yun Xiao sprinted over while Yun Zhao was crunching away and dug the clam out of her mouth. Why are you so greedy? You put everything in your mouth. Yun Zhao pursed her lips and stared at him. You fool. At least you should have pried it open. But the clam had a lot of sand inside and was not satisfying to chew. Yun Zhao nodded. It's not tasty? Not as tasty as the scallops in the sea? Come on, since we can't go into the sea, brother will take you to find a sea urchin. We can eat that raw, or we can take it back to grandma to steam with eggs. Yun Zhao's eyes immediately lit up. Sea urchin! Sea urchin! Where are the sea urchins? Suddenly, Yun Zhao heard a strange noise. She glanced at the sea and saw a large sea turtle swimming toward them. Little sister, come over here. I see one over there. It looks like a sea urchin. Yun Xiaowu held her small hand and walked toward the opposite reef beach. Yun Xiaowu didn't dare pick it up with his bare hands. Getting stung by one of those spines was painful. He used tongs to clamp the sea urchin. Zhao Zhao, you play on the side, and I'll open this sea urchin for you. But don't run into the sea, Yun Zhao said. Okay, and pointed to the snails clinging to the reef. Fifth brother, spicy snails. Yun Xiaowu looked in the direction Yun Zhao was pointing. Oh, wow, there are quite a few. Spicy snails are small brown snails that taste slightly spicy. He had been so focused on the sea urchin that he hadn't noticed that side of the reef was a bit steep. Quote, Zhao Zhao, don't go over there. I'll take care of this sea urchin and then go. He snipped off the sea urchin's spines and cut open the shell, exposing the fresh sea urchin roe inside. Here, you can eat this. Yun Zhao took the sea urchin. Yun Xiaowu then pulled out a small wooden spoon from his pocket. She sat on the small reef and ate the sea urchin with the spoon. Yun Xiaowu scurried over to the reef where the spicy snails were climbing and began picking up the larger ones, tossing them into the bucket with a clink-clank. Yun Zhao glanced at him, lowered her head to eat the sea urchin, and then glanced again at the large sea turtle peeking out from behind the reef. Yun Zhao waved to the sea turtle. Come here. Do you want me to help you get rid of these barnacles? The sea turtle seemed to understand Yun Zhao's words and actually nodded. Yun Zhao took her shovel and began scraping at the barnacles on the turtle's shell. I'll remove the barnacles for you, and you have to catch fish for me, okay? Yun Zhao talked to the sea turtle, laying out the condition for tasty food. The sea turtle lay there quietly. When Yun Xiaowu finished gathering the snails and looked back, holy cow! Yun Zhao's fuzzy head was poking out from behind the large sea turtle, her big eyes looking at him. Yun Xiaowu ran over. Where did this sea turtle come from? Yun Zhao said innocently, from the sea. Yun Xiaowu started to say something, but stopped when he met his sister's clear eyes. He wanted to say, Sister, weren't you sent by a sea turtle too? Jojo, what are you doing? Yun Zhao held up the shovel. Shoveling barnacles. Yun Xiaowu rolled up his sleeves. I'll do it. The two of them worked together to clear the barnacles from the turtle's shell. Yun Xiaowu patted the turtle's shell. There you go. I wonder if you're the same sea turtle from back then. The sea turtle rubbed its head against Yun Zhao's hand, then moved to the shore and entered the sea with the tide. Yun Xiaowu stood on the beach and watched for a while. If only I knew where sea turtles lay their eggs. We can't eat the sea turtle, but we can eat the eggs. Yun Zhao tilted her head, resting her chin on her small hand, looking thoughtful. Let's go. Yun Zhao shook her head, refusing. Wait. The large sea turtle had promised to bring her something. She held Yun Zhao's hand and stood quietly on the beach. At this moment, ninth brother and the others also ran over. Zhao Zhao, fifth brother, what are you doing here? Mother told us to watch you and not let you go into the sea. We didn't go in. We just found some spicy snails here. Suddenly, there was a loud commotion on the water. Everyone looked out to the sea. Quote, hey, it's that big sea turtle. What a big turtle. The one you know? The sea turtle wasn't afraid of people. It was carrying something in its mouth and swam toward them. When they finally saw clearly what it was, Yun Xiaowu yelled, holy cow, run! He scooped up Yun Zhao and took off. That ungrateful turtle is carrying a jellyfish. The sea turtle, with its tiny eyes, stared at the running Yun Zhao with what seemed like resentment. Didn't you ask me to bring something tasty? Yun Zhao struggled, flapping her short legs. Brother, put me down. That's a gift the big sea turtle brought me. Jellyfish are edible for Zhaoren. They are a great snack. Eat what? Dad said those things are poisonous. Getting stung by a jellyfish tentacle hurts badly and can kill people. Quickly take that thing away. If you want to repay a favor, at least bring a fish. Standing far away, Yun Zhaowu pointed accusingly at the sea turtle. Yun Zhao pouted, distressed. The sea turtle looked towards Yun Zhao, as if asking if she still wanted to eat it. Yun Zhao's eyes became teary. I can't eat it. Brother won't let me. Yun Xiaowu quickly consoled her. Good, Zhao Zhao. We'll eat something else. We won't eat that thing. The sea turtle dipped its head and quickly munched on the jellyfish itself. Here is the English translation of the text. Yun Zhao became even angrier. I want scallops! I want a big fish! Yun Xiaowu and his brothers scratched their heads. Zhao Zhao, are you talking to it? It can't understand you. How could an animal understand human speech? Yun Zhao's tender voice was absolutely certain. It can understand! The sea turtle had already turned and was heading back into the sea. Yun Xiaozi sighed. I wonder if it will come back. It knows how to be grateful, though. It brought a gift. It's just, we can't eat that thing. Let's go back. Mom is calling us. Afterward, Yun Xiaowu led Yun Zhao and the others to change locations, running towards the mudflats. Brother, I see a mud crab. Yun Zhao ran behind them, also looking around for things. Her eyesight was much better than a normal person's. She quickly spotted a spotted crab stuck in a rock crevice. Fifth brother, there's a spotted crab over there. Yun Xiaowu immediately followed the direction of her finger and used the tongs to poke around in the crevice. Sure enough, there was a spiny, claw-waving spotted crab. Zhao Zhao, you have good luck and good eyes. You found so much already. Point in another direction and we'll look there. Yun Zhao closed her eyes and randomly pointed, and the brothers actually took her towards that direction. Holy cow, so many clams! Why are these different from the ones we usually eat? Yun Xiaowu immediately jumped into the small puddle. Stupid! These are blood clams. They're different from regular clams. The meat inside is red. It looks like it's bleeding. These things aren't cheap to sell. Ha ha ha! A whole nest of blood clams. They excitedly started collecting the blood clams. Yun Zhao also stretched out her little arm, grabbed one, and secretly pried it open behind her brothers' backs. She ate the exposed meat. It's delicious. However, she only ate one. The rest had to be sold for money. Zhao Zhao, did you secretly eat something? Yun Zhao shook her head, adamantly refusing to admit it. Your mouth isn't clean. Yun Zhao wiped her mouth and continued to look at her brothers with big, innocent eyes. She shook her head. I didn't steal any food. You! Why do you like to eat seafood raw? Some of it has a strong, fishy smell. It's a wonder you can eat it. After they finished collecting, they were still somewhat reluctant to leave. But since it was getting late, they had to go back. When they passed the beach where they had met the sea turtle earlier, they saw that the turtle had returned. Yun Zhao scurried over. Turtle, what did you bring? The turtle dipped its head into the seawater, picked up something, and tossed it over. Yun Zhao picked it up. There were no shells or conches, but there was a shiny, golden yellow big fish. A yellow croaker! The famous yellow croaker! And such a large one, too. It was caught by a sea turtle and given to them, and it was still fresh. Why? Enshawu picked up the fish and looked at it, his face filled with surprise. It's a shame there's only one, but this yellow croaker is huge. It must be about 5 pounds. He looked at the sea turtle. Turtle, you're a grateful turtle. I misjudged you. Yunshawu happily kissed the sea turtle on its smooth, bald head. The large sea turtle buried its head in the seawater and twisted frantically. Yunshawu was clearly rejected. This time, the sea turtle really left. However, as it swam out to sea, it turned its neck and looked at Yunjiao several times. Yunjiao waved to the turtle. When my family has a boat, I'll come see you. They found good things on this clam digging trip. Afterward, they went home with Shen Yunlian and Wang Mei. When they got home, they realized they not only had a yellow croaker, but also about 2 pounds of blood clams. Your luck is too good, they chattered, recounting the story of the sea turtle giving them the fish. Then, Wang Mei prepared to take the seafood to sell. Shen Yunlian, who was nearby, picked out the moon snails. We'll keep these few to eat at home. The look in our daughter's eyes is too pitiful. They couldn't afford to eat yellow croaker right now, but they could keep these types of shells. Wang Mei also noticed Yunjiao's pathetic, longing little expression and couldn't help but laugh. If we can catch a lot of yellow croaker in the future, we'll definitely keep a few for ourselves. Yunjiao was easily satisfied. Being able to eat those moon snails was good enough. I also want to eat a small octopus. Quote, okay, we'll keep one of those too. Now, Yunjiao was completely satisfied. Shen Yunlian and Grandma Yun cooked at home, and Wang Mei took the seafood to sell. In the end, the seafood sold for a total of 34.9 RMB. Hearing this news, the whole family was overjoyed. Father Yun smiled and said, tomorrow, we'll go look at the boat. If it's good, we'll buy it right away. Our lives are going to get better and better. Yunjiao looked up, her soft voice pleading, Daddy, I want to go too. Quote, all right, tomorrow Jiao Jiao will go with Daddy. They were going to buy a used wooden boat and had made arrangements with the owner beforehand. So when they arrived, the owner took them directly to see the boat. The next day, after Yunlin Hai confirmed there were no problems with the boat, he bought the 8-meter boat for a little over 300 RMB. Can you include that fishing rod? Yin Zhao pointed to a fishing rod in the corner. It was actually just made of bamboo, with fishing line and a hook attached. At that time, they didn't sell professional fishing rods in their area. They were all homemade. Take it, it's just sitting there unused. Thank you. Yun Zhao thanked him sweetly, her voice soft and pleasant. When she took the fishing rod, Yun Zhao felt it was a bit heavy, but with her current strength, she had no problem holding it. Daddy, are we taking the boat back? Father Yun was excitedly rubbing his hands. His family finally had a boat of their own. Get on the boat, Daddy will row. Soon, their newly bought boat was moving across the sea. Jiao Jiao, hold on tight, we're heading out to sea. You could hear how happy he was just from his voice. Yun Zhao sat steadily on the boat, fiddling with her fishing rod. She threaded a small dried shrimp onto the hook. This was a small snack her mother had prepared for her, which she was now using to fish. Watching the hook with the dried shrimp drop into the sea, Yun Zhao looked at the boundless ocean. If it weren't for worrying her father, she would have loved to jump in. The wooden fishing boat moved slowly across the water. Suddenly, the fishing rod in her hand gave a tug. The sharp pull almost yanked Yun Zhao into the sea. Yun Zhao reacted quickly, pulling the fish up with all her strength. It was a 2-pound black sea bream. One dried shrimp for a 2-pound fish. Yun Zhao was quite satisfied. She stuck her bottom out and hugged the fish, waddling as she threw it to the side. She sat on the deck and took out all the dried shrimp snacks she had. Jiao Jiao, do you like the sea? Yun Zhao, focused on carefully threading the dried shrimp onto the hook, answered Yunlin Hai's question. I like it. Then, when we have time, Daddy will take you to an island nearby for clam digging. Yun Zhao threw the hook into the sea, looked up and asked, Daddy, can you take Jiao Jiao tomorrow? Yunlin Hai was nervous and focused on rowing. He didn't notice what his daughter was doing for a moment. Hearing her voice, he looked back and, seeing her on the boat, felt relieved. Jiao Jiao, don't get too close to the edge of the boat. Be careful not to fall in. Yun Zhao hummed in acknowledgement. Got it. Just as she spoke, her fishing rod moved again. This time, it was a 1-pound Japanese whiting. It's a small fish! Again! She caught fish quickly. After throwing the line in, it didn't take long to get a bite, but they were all common fish, like black sea bream and Japanese whiting. Twice, she was unlucky. The bait was eaten, but the fish didn't take the hook. When Yun Zhao fished for the 9th time, the pull was stronger than before. Yun Zhao's small face scrunched up as she strained with all her might, but her 2 small hands couldn't quite hold on. Daddy, big fish! little Yun Jiao decisively called for help. She was still small, and her strength was limited. Yun Linhai turned his head, quickly dropped the oar, and took the fishing rod from his daughter's hands, afraid she would be pulled into the sea. Taking it, he was surprised. This fish was indeed not small. The bamboo rod was bent to a point where it looked like it might snap at any moment. Yun Jiao pointed at the fish that had been pulled out of the water. "Daddy, sea bass!" Yun Linhai's eyes were full of continuous surprise. This sea bass had to be 6 pounds. Finally, Yun Linhai hauled the fish onto the deck. "My daughter is amazing! She caught this too!" However, he quickly realized there was more than just this one. Yun Linhai stared dumbfounded at the small pile of half-dead fish off to the side. When did you catch these?" Yun Linhai's voice cracked with shock. How long had it been? And he hadn't even noticed. He hadn't believed Yun Jiao could catch anything with that little old fishing rod while the boat was moving. He hadn't expected to be the clown in this story. How did you even fish? The sight of the fish made Yun Linhai's eyes burn with excitement. He stopped rowing, rubbed his hands together, and crouched beside his daughter. "Jiao Jiao, let Daddy try to fish too!" Yun Jiao handed him a small dried shrimp. "Daddy, here. Good, good, good. Let's see what your daddy can catch." He and Yun Jiao sat side by side on the deck, waiting expectantly for a while. The fishing rod remained still. Yun Jiao held a dried shrimp in her hand, munching on it. Munch, munch, munch. Just when Yun Linhai was starting to doubt himself, it finally came, he exclaimed excitedly. It's here! It's here! Let me see what it is! It's a mackerel scad! His excitement instantly fizzled out. Mackerel scad meat is tougher and fishier than other fish and doesn't sell for much money. We'll take it back to eat ourselves. Daddy, give it to me. Yun Jiao reached out her small hand. She only had one dried shrimp left. She had eaten the rest. Jiao Jiao's luck is better. Let me fish. This time, he didn't leave. He squatted by the side, watching how his daughter fished. She expertly threaded a dried shrimp onto the hook and cast the line out. Her rod moved quickly. However, this time, she reeled in a 4-ounce squid. Daddy, cut it! Yun Jiao pointed at the squid. Yun Linhai understood what she meant. All right, Daddy will cut it for you. Yun Jiao took the still wiggling squid tentacle with her small hand and put it on the hook to continue fishing. Perhaps because a live thing was more attractive to the fish in the sea, something bit the hook very quickly, and the tug was considerable. Yun Jiao's small face tensed up. She was having trouble holding on. Seeing this, Yun Linhai quickly took the fishing rod from his daughter. Holy cow, it's a silver pomfret this big. It must be 3 pounds. It wasn't surprising that he was so shocked. Silver pomfrets found in the area usually didn't exceed 1 pound. How long must this fish have been alive? And his Jiao Jiao had caught it. Yun Linhai's honest face couldn't hide his joy. Jiao Jiao, let Daddy try the next cast. He was truly envious. Yun Jiao nodded. Okay. However, this time he didn't catch anything. The cunning fish had eaten the bait and run away. Again, I don't believe it. This time, he caught a barracuda. It's a barracuda, Jiao Jiao. Stand back. Barracudas are fierce and have sharp teeth. Even on the deck, it was opening its mouth, trying to bite people. Yun Linhai kicked it into the boat cabin. This one must be 5 or 6 pounds. Yun Jiao's small eyes watched Yun Linhai intently. Daddy, I want to fish. Yun Linhai scratched his head awkwardly. This fishing is quite addictive. Fine, here's your rod. Less than a minute later, Yun Jiao called for help. Daddy, big fish. They hauled in another barracuda. This one was huge, at least 10 pounds. The fishing rod was bent into a curve that looked like it would break at any moment. Fortunately, the rod held up in the end, and the fiercely struggling barracuda was finally flung onto the deck. That barracuda had immense strength. After landing on the deck, it even broke free from the hook. Its sharp-toothed mouth lunged directly at Yun Jiao. Yun Linhai's expression changed instantly. Jiao Jiao, move out of the way! Yun Jiao didn't move. Instead, she swung her hand and gave the barracuda a hard slap. Yun Linhai rushed to her side, kicked the barracuda into the cabin, and then embraced her, checking her over. Are you hurt? Did it bite you? Yun Jiao shook her head. No, I'm fine! She was bouncing with energy. Seeing that she was truly unharmed, Yun Linhai finally relaxed. Our Jiao Jiao is so amazing! Yun Jiao's eyes sparkled, and she lifted her small chin to accept her father's praise. Daddy is great at fishing too! Jiao Jiao, you continue. Daddy will watch you from the side. Yun Jiao proudly took the fishing rod and continued. And then it was another barracuda. The fish caught one after another were all barracudas. Yunlin Hai couldn't help but lean over and look into the sea. Could a school of barracudas be passing by here? About half an hour later, the bait ran out. Yunlin Hai calculated that they had caught about 20 barracudas alone, estimating well over 100 pounds of fish. His daughter, using only that fishing rod, had earned 50 RMB. "Daddy, it's broken!" Yunjiao brought the broken fishing rod to Yunlin Hai, pouting unhappily. Yunlin Hai suddenly realized his daughter had caught so many fish with this little old fishing rod before it finally broke. "Daddy will make you a new one another day." Then they happily headed home. Meanwhile, back at home, the family was anxiously watching from the pier. Why aren't they back yet? The more they thought, the more afraid they became, and the family's faces were pale. Just when they were beginning to despair, the silhouette of a small wooden boat appeared in their view. "Look! Is that them?" They were very familiar with the shapes of their family members. Immediately, the whole family ran towards the boat. Yunlin Hai and Yun Zhao on the boat also spotted them and immediately raised their hands to greet them. When the small wooden boat docked at the pier, Yunlin Hai smiled warmly, carrying Yun Zhao ashore. But he wasn't greeted with a family welcome. Instead, he was met with a beating from Grandpa Yun. Yun Zhao was quickly taken aside by Grandma Yun. "Father, I was wrong. Zhao Zhao and I were fishing on the sea and didn't notice the time." Yun Zhao, held by Grandma Yun, nodded repeatedly like a pecking chick. She was also a little scared and kept checking on her father. She pursed her small mouth. "You hit Daddy, but you can't hit me." "Fishing? Oh, father, you don't know. Zhao Zhao caught so many fish with one rod." Saying this, Yunlin Hai took them onto the boat. When he opened the cabin, everyone stared wide-eyed at the twisting, large barracudas inside. "Zhao Zhao caught these?" It sounded so unbelievable. Father Yun immediately instructed, "Quick, take the fish and send them to Awang's place." After all the commotion, although the barracudas were still alive, their vitality was not as good as before. Grandpa Yun and the others were experienced fishermen and quickly caught all the fish inside. Wang's buying station was not far, and the fish were still alive when they arrived. In the end, all the fish sold for a total of 74 RMB. The Yun family's faces instantly lit up with joy. This was more profit than most people who went out fishing specifically for a living. That night, a typhoon blew in, but such typhoons often brought with them a major high tide. The beach was expected to be a hive of activity early the next morning. The next morning, they got up before dawn. Yun Zhao also woke up. "Zhao Zhao, sleep a little more." The adults were getting up early to dig for seafood, but hadn't planned on taking the children. Yan Zhao shook her head, rubbing her eyes with the back of her chubby hand. Her voice was soft but held stubbornness. "I want to go too." The typhoon last night must have washed up a lot of good things from the sea. The family hurried to the seaside. When they arrived, everyone scattered to look for seafood. "Where should we go?" Yun Xiaowu remembered the rich haul they got when Yun Zhao randomly pointed last time, so he looked at her expectantly. Yun Zhao tilted her head, and under the hopeful gaze of her brothers, she pointed in a direction. "Let's go, let's go." The typhoon had indeed brought in a lot of goods yesterday. They found many small fish and shrimp along the way. Yun Zhao also rolled up her pant legs and stood on the beach, occasionally squatting to pick up a large conch. This time, Yun Zhao toddled her short legs in the lead. Soon, she saw something golden yellow tumbling in the waves near the shore. Her eyes lit up and she ran toward it, making a sudden turn. Her brothers rushed to catch up. "Holy cow, those are yellow croaker. 3 of them. Quick, grab them." Yun Zhao pounced first, pinning one yellow croaker down. The others quickly grabbed the other 2. Although these 3 yellow croaker were not as big as the one the turtle had given them, they collectively weighed 5 or 6 pounds. Soaked all over, Yun Xiaowu and his brothers were laughing heartily. "Zhao Zhao, you're so amazing. You could see them from so far away." Yun Zhao, praised so much, would have wagged a tail if she had one. Suddenly, there was a commotion in the sea. Yun Zhao looked up. "Turtle!" By now, Yan Xiaowu and the others also noticed the large creature emerging from the sea. It was the sea turtle. The turtle swam over with the waves to Yun Zhao's side and nudged her hand with its head. It knows where there's a super big fish. Yun Zhao's eyes brightened. "Where?" The sea turtle swam back into the shallow water, signaling Yun Zhao to follow. Yun Zhao looked at her brothers. "The turtle wants me to go with it." She was also eager to go into the sea. "No!" Her brothers all refused, even shouting warnings. Yun Zhao glared at the sea turtle, as if it were a turtle trafficker trying to abduct their little sister. The sea turtle looked utterly speechless. "You guys are a bit much, aren't you?" Although Yunjiao really wanted to go into the sea, she knew her family would worry terribly. In the end, the sea turtle swam in the shallower water, leading the way. Yunjiao and her brothers ran along, following it. Then they found a beached orca. The turtle's voice, full of excitement and thrill, echoed in her mind. "Hurry and catch it. A fish that big is enough for you to eat for a long time. Catch it." When they walked over, the orca twitched its tail and made a couple of soft ying-ying cries. Yan Xiaowu and the others, who had never seen an orca before, gasped when they saw a fish this big. Their eyes widened. "A fish this big! Even if Daddy and all of us came, we might not be able to lift it." Yunjiao walked up to the orca and poked its head with her finger. "How did you end up here?" The orca's small eyes immediately lit up. It vigorously thumped its tail and cried ying-ying at Yunjiao. At the same time, a tender voice echoed in Yunjiao's mind. "Cute human. Cute. This one is the cutest." The large sea turtle looked at Yunjiao and the others earnestly, hoping they would take the orca. The orca was notoriously mischievous among marine animals, and many suffered because of it. The sea turtle was one of its victims. Unfortunately, its wish would likely not come true. Yun Xiaowu quickly called over Father Yun and Uncle Yun. "Dad, look, how much money can a fish this big sell for?" Yan Linhai and Yan Linhe ran over and immediately widened their eyes. "TH, this is an orca! An orca is beached! Hurry and see if we can send it back to the sea." Yun Xiaowu scratched his head, confused. "Huh? Why send it back to the sea? Isn't it worth money?" "Worth money? You can't eat this at all. Its meat is poisonous and it's clever and holds grudges. But it doesn't harm people, and even drives away sharks. As long as you don't provoke them, they're beneficial to humans. I don't know how long it's been beached." The orca was still quite lively, constantly wriggling its body and trying to rub against Yunjiao. "Quick, let me touch you, human. Say some more nice words." It didn't look worried about being in danger at all. "Be quiet!" Yunjiao slapped its mouth, but the creature, taking advantage of the situation, cried even more happily. Say more, it's really nice to hear," Yunjiao said in a soft baby voice. "Did you just curse?" Yun Linhai and the others quickly started digging up the sand. The sea turtle on the side was dumbfounded. "What's going on? Aren't they gonna catch the fish? It's huge!" Yunjiao told the turtle that they couldn't eat this fish and had to release it back into the sea. "Human, that ugly turtle. Look at me, quick, look at me." Amidst the orca's noisy complaining, Yunjiao finally turned her attention back to it. The orca was overjoyed. Even though it was lying immobile on the beach, it couldn't stop its enthusiasm for Yunjiao. "Turtle ugly. I beautiful. Human likes me." The orca's vocabulary was small, but it managed to convey its intended meaning. The sea turtle was so angry that it used its scimitar-like flipper to beat the sand. This cute human was his discovery. Taking advantage of the fact that he could move right now, the turtle crawled over to Yunjiao in front of the orca and shoved his head into her arms to compete for attention. The orca cried ying-ying, "I'm going to tell my mom to hit you." The sea turtle, being stubbornly defiant, decided not to leave. He would stay at the little human's house from now on. He was afraid that as soon as he returned to the sea, those mischievous orcas would use him as a frisbee. Yunjiao touched one, then the other, feeling a little helpless. "Don't fight. You're making my head hurt." Then, the group started trying to push the orca, but the orca kept trying to talk to Yunjiao, which resulted in Yun Linhai and the others pushing hard towards the sea, while the scatterbrained orca wiggled in the opposite direction. "Human, talk to me. I'll catch you a fish. A big fish." Even little Yunjiao was rendered speechless by the oblivious orca. "Go back to the sea quickly," she patted the orca's head. "Human touched me. Happy." Yunjiao slapped it, slightly annoyed. "Can you not be so distracting?" As they were struggling to push the orca back into the ocean, a loud commotion suddenly came from the sea not far away. They looked up. A mighty pod of orcas! They must be this orca's family. The few humans, panting heavily, were excited to see the pod of orcas. Most of the orcas in the sea were adults. Some were about the size of a 7 or 8 meter wooden boat, and others were even bigger. They were making bursts of calls. Others couldn't understand, but those calls, reaching Yunjiao's ears, were louder than a bustling market. And, if translated into human language, they were quite profane. "You little brat, how many times have I told you not to get too close to the shore? Don't get too close. Are you ignoring me? Wait till you get back here. I'm gonna beat you to death." "Look, humans, they are saving the orca." "Oh, is that little stinker trying not to go back to the sea?" Humans are good. Orcas are bad. The little brat is going to get a beating again. Come on, let's help you beat him up. We'll beat him so hard his own dad won't recognize him. So loud! Yunjiao puffed out her cheeks. In a fit of pique, she slapped the little orca. The little orca looked confused, then excited. Human, you touched me again. Do it more. Annoyed by the creature, Yunjiao moved away. With everyone's combined effort, the orca was finally pushed into the sea. In the water, the orca swam more freely, but it didn't leave. It looked at the shore with longing eyes. Human, come back to the ocean with me. I'll have my mom raise you. Yunjiao pretended not to hear him. Although she was very tempted to go into the sea, she wouldn't do it at the expense of her current family's worry. At that moment, the adult orcas in the sea were verbally abusing the little orca. You little brat, aren't you coming back? Do you want to die? I'll make sure you do. Get back here. The rest was a stream of curses that could be muted. In the end, the little orca reluctantly returned to its family. As soon as it was back, its relatives surrounded it and gave it a good beating. Those unaware of the situation would only think they had a very close relationship. The pod of orcas drove the little orca away from the area. Everyone knew they wouldn't see the orca again, so they gradually dispersed. Yunjiao was also ready to go home with her brothers, but she noticed that the sea turtle was following her. Yunjiao turned around and engaged in a staring contest with the turtle. Aren't you going back to the sea? The turtle's slow voice echoed in Yunjiao's mind. Slap! Yunjiao poked its head with her little finger. You're such a coward! You even told us to catch the orca! The turtle looked at her with innocent eyes. Do you want to come home with me? The sea turtle nodded. To hide for a few days, but we don't have anything at home to keep you in. The sea turtle was so big, there truly wasn't a container large enough to hold it at home. What are you doing, little sister? Yunjiao pointed at the sea turtle. He wants to come home with us. Yunjiao stroked his chin, his eyes shining. Other people have cats and dogs. Our family having a huge sea turtle? That's awesome. If we could have kept that orca just now, it would be even better. Yunjiao's tender voice refuted him with serious conviction. No, he'll eat us out of house and home. Yunjiao immediately nodded. You're right. He's so big, how much would he eat in a day? Yunjiao wrinkled her small brow and thought, maybe we shouldn't keep him? Yunjiao thought to herself that sharing her food was definitely out of the question. The sea turtle quickly declared that it was an excellent hunter. As long as it could fend for itself, that was fine. Yunjiao's eyes curved into crescent shapes, and she told her brothers, we'll bring him with us every day when we go out for seafood. Phew, that was close. I was almost sent back to the sea. Quote, Grandma, look at the big sea turtle we brought back. They hauled the turtle, running breathlessly back home. They quickly put the turtle down. Grandma Yun, who was cooking, came out and was startled. Why did you bring a sea turtle home? Hehe, this turtle wanted to follow us home. Grandma Yun circled the turtle. We can't eat this turtle. Grandma, we won't eat it. Do we have a big basin? We can keep him, Grandma Yun grumbled. How can we afford to keep a sea turtle that big? We should just release it back into the sea. Yunjiao skillfully found a small dried shrimp, put it in her mouth, and toddled over on her short legs. Grandma, he's scared. Yunjiao was afraid Grandma Yun would get confused. Scared of what? Yunjiao glanced at the big sea turtle, took a dried shrimp with her pale, chubby little hand, and offered it to the turtle. The turtle unceremoniously took a bite and ate it. Watching the turtle eat, she chattered to it, giving it a lecture. After eating this, you have to repay me with a big fish. Then she told Grandma Yun, he took us to catch the orca, but the orca was sent home. He's afraid the orca will beat him up if he goes back to the sea. Yunjiao scratched his head. Wait, didn't he take us to save the orca? Yunjiao used her small hand to draw circles in the air. Orcas are playful and like to use turtles as spinning tops. Yunjiao and the others were a bit bewildered. That's not right. How do you know that? Yunjiao didn't answer. She just stared at them with big, innocent eyes. With her pitiful, adorable look, no one pressed the question. Yunjiao happily smiled. Her snow-white, chubby cheeks, still full of baby fat, looked soft and squishy, irresistible. Yunjiao couldn't control himself. He pinched his super-duper cute little sister's face. Yunjiao immediately stopped smiling and turned her little face away. Yunjiao also reached out and poked the plump baby fat on Yunjiao's cheek, leaving a small dimple. I want to pinch too. Little sister, why is your face so soft? The other brothers also crowded around. Yunjiao covered her face and ran away quickly. I don't want to. The brothers pinched for too long. Before she was 1 year old and couldn't fight back, her brothers loved to touch her little face, chubby hands, and plump feet. They even drooled a little when they touched her. Now she wouldn't let them touch her anymore. Grandma Yoon smiled and called out, "Don't run too far. I cooked conch meat today." Hearing this, Yoonjao's feet made a sharp turn, and she ran towards Grandma Yoon. "Grandma!" Her soft, sweet call was as sweet as could be. Grandma Yoon couldn't resist. She picked Yoonjao up. "Let's go, my Jiao Jiao. You can eat one first and taste it." Yoonjao happily wiggled her short legs. "Put me down. Jiao Jiao can walk by herself." After being put down, she obediently followed at Grandma Yoon's heels. Grandma Yoon poured the cooked conches into a basin. "These are the smaller ones picked from the bag of conches you collected. Eat!" She handed a small conch to Yoonjao and placed a dish of dipping sauce in front of her. Yoonjao loved the dipping sauce Grandma made. "Brother, have a bite." Yoonjao and the others refused. "No, there's so little meat. If we eat it, you won't have any left." "You eat it all. We'll eat more during dinner." The brothers were not at all jealous of Yoonjao getting to eat the good food first. When Yoonlin Hai and the others returned, they took out the money from selling the conches and the yellow croaker and handed it to Grandma Yoon. After dinner, the adults went back to work. Yoon Xiaowu took his younger brothers and Yoonjao and headed into the mountains. Quote, "We're not going to the seaside today. We're going to the mountains. The guava tree we found last time. I wonder if the fruit is ripe yet." The brothers excitedly bounced their way up the mountain with their little sister. "Wait, this flower." Yoonjao followed her brother's gaze. It was just an ordinary small wild purple flower. "Wait, I'll make Jiao Jiao a flower crown." Then he held his hands to measure the size of Yoonjao's head. Soon, a colorful and beautiful flower crown was finished. Yoon Xiaowu placed it on Yoonjao's head. "Beautiful! My sister must have what others have, no matter where we live." Little girls always love pretty things. "There's a dry tree branch over there. I'm going to chop it down. Jiao Jiao, don't wander off, okay?" Yoonjao hummed. "Then I'll look around here for mushrooms." The brothers all said in unison, "Don't put any raw mushrooms in your mouth." Yoonjao thought, "How annoying. I just wanted to taste them." While her brothers were chopping wood, Yoonjao used a small stick to poke around here and there. She actually found a mushroom, the famous and delicious wild morel mushroom. Not only was this edible, but it could also be sold for a good amount of money. But rather than selling it, Yoonjao wanted to eat it more. As she squatted down to pick the morels, a black snake, about 3 fingers thick, slowly slithered down the tree behind her. It quietly approached Yoonjao, craned its neck, and lunged to bite her. Yoonjao felt a chill on her back. She quickly turned sideways and grabbed the snake's head with one hand. With lightning speed, she slammed it onto the ground. Without waiting for the snake to react, Yoonjao grabbed its tail and swung it against a nearby rock. Bang! Blood splattered, and the snake's head was flattened. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Hearing the commotion, Yoon Xiaowu and the others ran over. Seeing the thick snake not far from Yoonjao, their faces instantly turned pale. Yoon Xiaowu scooped Yoonjao up in one swift motion. "Were you bitten?" Yoonjao shook her head. "No." "Were you scared?" She shook her head again, staring at them with big, innocent eyes. "No." "The one who should be scared is the snake. It's dead. It's a black striped snake." Yoon Xiaoqi picked up the snake with its crushed head and examined it. He was relieved. "This snake isn't venomous. Little sister, you're so amazing. You beat such a big snake." Yoonjao just stood there, looking sweet, obedient, white, and soft, completely unlike someone who could kill a snake. The image was clearly contradictory. "Jiao Jiao, did you find morels?" Yoonjao nodded, holding up the small basket for them to see. Her soft, tender voice carried a hint of pride. "So many. Our Jiao Jiao's luck is truly beyond words. Maybe we'll actually find a wild chicken today." Not only was she lucky, but she was also formidable. What other little girl could beat a snake this big? Yoonjao's smile grew wider as she received all the flowery compliments. Then they arrived at a guava tree. Yoon Xiaowu rolled up his sleeves and climbed the tree. "This is our secret base. Good thing no one else found it." Yoonjao watched her brothers nimbly climb the tree and wanted to try too. But before she could start climbing, she was spotted and stopped. "Jiao Jiao, you stand down there. Don't come up." Yoonjao reluctantly sighed. She then noticed an edible wild vegetable nearby and decided to pick that instead. As she was searching, she parted a patch of grass and instantly came face to face with a pheasant crouched in the weeds. She reacted faster than she could think, using the basket she was holding, which contained the wild vegetables, to cover it. The pheasant, trapped under the basket, immediately started screeching and flapping. Then, Yunzhao watched helplessly as several other pheasants bolted out of the nearby grass and flew away. Holy cow, so many pheasants! What did we miss? Even though Yun Xiaowu and the others climbed down the tree as fast as possible, they still failed to catch a single one. Wait! There's still a pheasant screeching. They quickly followed the sound of the pheasant's cries and found Yun Zhao, who was lying face down on the ground with her bottom sticking up. Yun Zhao's hair was messy, and her pale, soft face had a little dirt on it, but her eyes were exceptionally bright and sparkling. Brothers! Pheasant! Fearing the pheasant trapped in the basket might escape, she had completely laid herself on top of the basket, but she didn't dare press down too hard. Hearing this, Yun Xiaowu and the others' eyes instantly lit up. I'll get it! I'll get it! I'll catch it! Amidst the pheasant's shrieks, Yun Xiaowu laughed heartily. This is truly a case of, ask and you shall receive. We've got our dragon and phoenix soup now. This pheasant is quite plump too. When Yun Zhao took the basket away, they saw there were also wild pheasant eggs underneath, but they were likely crushed when the pheasant struggled inside. Yun Kaiwu's eyes brightened. There were so many pheasants just now. Maybe there are more wild eggs nearby. Everyone look! They searched, and indeed found more eggs. Yun Xiaoliu smiled widely. I found a nest here. There are 5 wild eggs inside. I found 3 over here. Yun Zhao also found a nest. The one she found had 7 eggs. They found a total of 15 wild eggs, and everyone was beaming. Let's go! Let's go home! They hadn't expected to find so many good things on a trip into the mountains. Carrying firewood, wild vegetables, a snake, and a pheasant, they descended the mountain with high spirits and returned home. Yun Xiaowu immediately yelled out boisterously, Grandma! Mom! No one was home. The door was locked. Yun Xiaowu dumped the firewood from his basket by the door. You guys keep watch. I'll go ask Auntie for the key. Grandpa Yun was busy at the new house. Everyone else, including Grandma Yun, was probably out working in the fields. Yun Xiaowu quickly returned. Yun Zhao, holding the 15 wild eggs, was sitting on the stone stool by the door. She was fair and soft, holding one egg up to the sky with her little hand, curiously looking at something. I'm back, Grandpa said. Grandma went to weed the fields. Zhao Jiao, what are you looking at? Yun Zhao slightly turned her face. 5th brother, this egg has a little pheasant inside. Her soft voice was excited. Really? Her other brothers crowded around. Let me see, show me. Wait, I want to see too. They held the wild eggs and started looking at them the way Yun Zhao did. I can't tell. This one looks like it might have something. Let's get a flashlight to check. That's how we used to check the eggs at home. After opening the door and entering the house, the children immediately found the flashlight. Then, with their heads together, they held an egg up to the light source. Look, there really is something. So many blood vessels here. Is this the heart? It's moving. Let's check the others. In the end, out of the 15 eggs, only 3 clearly showed signs of life. They couldn't tell with the rest. Quick, let's put these 3 wild eggs in the chicken coop and have the hen hatch them for us. Yun Zhao's short legs scrambled along after her brothers. The children ran to the chicken shed. There was a hen still in the nest. Is she laying an egg? Yun Zhaowu and the others curiously squatted behind the hen's bottom, wanting to see how she laid an egg. What are you doing? Grandma Yun was back. Seeing her grandsons messing with her precious hen, she was instantly furious. She picked up a thin stick, ready to strike. Run! Yun Xiaowu grabbed Yun Zhao and ran, but her legs were too short to keep up. In the end, Yun Xiaowu and Yun Xiaoliu each grabbed one of her little arms. Yun Zhao was suspended in the air, her little feet dangling without touching the ground. Xiaowu? Xiaolu, let your sister go. Grandma, don't hit us. We just wanted the hen to help hatch the eggs. After being chased around the courtyard twice, they quickly explained, all talking at once. Grandma Yun stopped. The children huddled together opposite Grandma Yun, their eyes warily fixed on the stick in her hand. Yun Zhao's short legs flapped in the air. Let go of me, I want down! Her 2 brothers quickly put her down. Hatch eggs? What are you talking about? We found a bunch of wild eggs. These 3 have little pheasants inside. We were planning on having the hen at home hatch them for us. Grandma Yun checked and saw that there was indeed something inside all 3 wild eggs. Give them to me. I'll take them and try. The hen at home is broody anyway. Coming out of the chicken shed, they chattered about what they had found in the mountains that day. When they mentioned the snake, Grandma Yun quickly checked on Yun Zhao, anxiously asking if she had been bitten. Yun Zhao shook her head when asked. No, Grandma, it was a black-striped snake. Little sister is fine. She was super amazing and smashed the snake's head. Grandma Yun soon saw the snake and the pheasant they had caught. The children clamored for dragon and phoenix soup, and Yun Zhao looked at her with big, longing eyes. Grandma Yun picked up the pheasant. Fine. Grandma will make dragon and phoenix soup for you today. Yay! The children cheered excitedly. Yun Zhao and Yun Zhao Jiu helped draw water, and Yun Zhao Wu tended the fire. Yun Zhao sat on a small stool nearby, slowly munching on a guava. You even brought back all these morels. These are good things. Yun Zhao poked her head out, her mouth still smeared with fine guava pulp and juice. Grandma, don't sell them. Eat them ourselves.